Okay, bear with me, and there it's going. So first thing I'm going to do is, if you have a lot of background noise, please manually mute yourself. I'm going to allow it to where people can unmute themselves. So that means you're going to have to manually choose to keep yourself muted. There we go. So welcome everyone to the Super Easy Beginners class. Real quick, as you guys can see, I'm sharing a totally different screen tonight. This is the original kind of authentic kind of triple arrow system at its finest. And there was a question in the group that asked about alerts. So to first and foremost kind of address that specific topic, for those of you who are in the advanced membership group with me and the team, with a lot of people back there, with Elvis, who gives out amazing signals, with Jamie, with Scott and myself and everybody else who is constantly on teaching you new strategies, new tools, and new things, then you already know we did at one point have an effective, well, I don't know, effective is a lucid term here, but a dashboard, essentially, a whole all-inclusive alert system that would send you an alert every time you got a triple arrow. So for example, if you traded the 4-hour chart, you would set it up with a couple of pairs and the 4-hour triple arrows, and it would send an alert to your phone, to your email, and to pop up, all of the above. So that was part of the six-figure membership group, the advanced membership group. And I did discuss with Pat tonight, as well as my people for that, my PFT, to see if they can't improve it in any way. So I'm happy to report that is something that we may be bringing back. We have to see if we can make it slightly more effective, because a lot of people who don't know what they're doing yet, they loaded 28 pairs on there. They loaded 7 different time frames, and this one indicator bogged down their entire system. It froze up everything, therefore making it, ineffective. So we're working on trying to make a better version or clean it up somehow that will work for you guys. So that may, in fact, no promises, but I did get confirmation that my buddy and partner there will look at it, and confirmation from Pat that if we can get it to where it's effective and less of a administration headache, we will bring it back as part of the paid group. So for those of you who are asking about that, there's the information you needed to know about the dashboard. Now, other than that, to discuss specifically getting alerts in terms of MT4, which is a topic that I would like to make an entire whole other video on, because essentially most of us who have used alerts on MT4 will tell you that for the most part, they're really not that effective. They can come to your MT4 on your phone if you have it logged in as well, and I can teach you how to do that, again, in a whole separate video. Obviously, you have the option for pop-ups, and you can even make it to where it's text to email via your cell phone carrier. But the problem is you end up getting alerts for every open and closed order, every pending move. Some brokers even send you an alert for every time your trailing stop moves. It becomes a nightmare. So unless you know exactly what you're doing and exactly how it's working, it's definitely not something that you're going to want as much as you think you want, with the exception of a dashboard, which is programmed in a different way. So what I'm going to do tonight is go over a couple of pairs. If any of you guys have any recommendations, by all means, drop them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to go to Tradingview and show you exactly what we were doing from the beginning. So a couple of years ago, when Super Easy first started, with the original kind of setups, the original kind of EMAs, and how we were able to get alerts that way. So does anybody have any particular pairs you guys want to take a look at? Anybody at all? You are unmuted, so you guys are free to speak if you unmute yourself. It's a little different than Pat's call. This call, you have a little bit more personal freedom to kind of raise your hand or mute as you go.
Hello, Miss Jenny.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Fantastic.
I was thinking if you could take a look at the USD JPY and the H1.
Okay, let's take a look at that. And
Thank
what is
you.
it you're looking for? Are you looking for the buy, the sell, or?
Sell.
Okay, based off of?
Triple arrows on the H1 and also on the higher time frame, the bigger arrow.
Okay, so this is currently the hour time frame. You can see that on my charts, right?
Mm-hmm.
USD, JPY. We do in fact have triple arrows, as well as 4-hour support and daily support, right?
Yep.
We even have that 8 and 18 crossover. We're breaking past the 33 and the 50. So all of that looks good. Best thing you have going for you right now is divergence, huge divergence. However, my personal bias is for most JPY pairs to go back up. So this is a temporary pullback. And if you're asking my professional opinion, I would tell you that it's not super worth risking your account on a JPY pair when we're still pending that announcement tomorrow from the trade deal.
That's what I figured because it was going sideways all day.
Well, it was, and we finally got a drop, and everybody's calling that our breakout move. And whether it is or isn't isn't our business. What we have to know is that there's a good chance the trade deal will send it exactly where we want it to send it. However, it's not worth risking your account over, you know?
Yeah, I only have a small position on it, so.
Okay. What, do you have a pretty tight stop loss? Where's your stop loss?
Right above the arrow. The big
And
arrow, yeah.
are you up or down?
Right now, I'm a little in drawdown because it pulled back a little bit, as you can see.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. So we're kind of bouncing off the 50. This is my 50 EMA.
Yeah.
Right? It's one of the most common things used. Banks use it. If you're going to have anything on your chart, it should totally be that. So that it's bouncing off of that. That's not a pretty sign, but this is an engulfing candle. So that's a very powerful candle. If you guys can see that kind of clearly, right?
Yeah.
And candle formation does matter. But again, we're wicking off of the 50. We're pushed back up. And now the way that I read engulfing candles and the way I was taught to read them is, so this is your big engulfing candle. You'd want it to, come back and test 50%, maybe even 75%. But this retest, if you notice, it retested the whole candle almost, right?
Yeah.
And then it wicked down. So what it does from here, that's a little bit of a, you got to kind of pick your battles. I mean, an entry now wouldn't be a huge stop loss because this isn't a fast mover. This only moves about 50, 60 pips on average per day. So what is that? 30 pip stop loss maybe, with the potential of about 50 pip take profit if it just goes to the average daily low, right?
Yeah.
So let's take a look at it on the 4 hour. Let's take a look. UJ is the only one I actually think might actually kind of sell off.
I actually have the monthly and weekly and monthly dots too on the top there.
So this is the daily chart. And you're saying you have the weekly and monthly dots here.
Yeah.
Let's take a look. Let's drag and drop that here. Wait for it to load. Give it just a second.
I just figured it's a 30 pip stop loss, so that's not too bad. And with a monthly support on top of it.
Okay, so where's your monthly support? I'm trying to find it.
It's right in line with the weekly, daily, and 4 hour.
Because if I go to my UJ, my monthly support is on the bottom. Do you see this?
Hold on, I've got to jump back.
No, I could be wrong. I'm okay with being wrong.
And mine is all on top.
See, this
It's right in line with 1 day and 4 hour.
What broker one?
It's FX choice.
Could be that. Could be a broker. And then anybody else is welcome to chime in if you see something different. But what I see, granted, this is a demo account I'm logged into, but I'm pretty sure it's the same on my live, is my monthly support is on the bottom. And we just broke past daily support. So when I go to this super big time frame, do you see that? We broke above daily support or weekly support. The white is weekly, right?
Yep.
So on my chart, that's what I'm seeing. So that's weekly time frame. We just broke above weekly support. So does that mean we probably have a really good, pullback? Absolutely. If I were to sell any of the JPY pairs, it would be UJ. The rest of them I'm kind of touted to go up mostly. Most of them, I should say, not all of them. But that's what I'm saying personally. And with the trade deal tomorrow, I would pick something else. Even Australian NZD is better. I mean, almost any other pair is better because it's not worth playing with the Japanese yen when you're pending a potentially catastrophic announcement of like 3 words from some political people that can send it either direction for hundreds of pips, right?
Yeah, like I said, I have a 30 pip stop loss, so
Well, once you're up, just make sure you protect it.
Jenny.
You know how to do trading trailing stops. Hey, Donna.
Hey, sorry, I was just gonna tell you on mine as well has all the support at the bottom as well.
What broker?
That's on AAFX.
Gotcha. Anybody else see anything different than what Donna and I have? Guys, different brokers will show it up a little bit differently, just so you know. There is a difference in how these tools and indicators work on different brokers, and that's a super under-discussed topic, but I know this is meant to be a beginner's class, but it's just something to kind of bear in mind, that they don't work, it's not universal, and it never will be universal. It can't be. Okay.
Okay.
Does that help though? I definitely see it coming down for some pips. I just don't know for how many. So we've got the binary arrow saying it's going to sell. I mean, that's fantastic. Even if it just comes to that next support, you could potentially get that, 50 to 100 pip drop. And with the news, it's very likely, in fact. I mean, it's very, very likely. But it's just very risky because, the situation. So.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it to break even once I hit 15 pips and just see what happens.
There you go. That's the best way to do it. That's super wise. So somebody had asked about gold real quick. A couple people did. Hey, Ray. I hope you're having fun.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Ray. I know you're not going to turn on your microphone because you're in Vegas. Seriously. I hope you're having a good time. So let's take a look at gold. I was saying earlier that this was going to buy, and it bought pretty well. A couple of the other groups I'm in also were super saying this was going to buy, and it bought. Got our 50 pips. I know I got my 50 pips, and I scalped it several times, as well as on my swing trade account. But that bullish and engulfing candle, right? But you know all this. And now it's just retesting. So what it does now, again, with the trade thing tomorrow, it just makes it kind of risky. So if you're going to scalp it, you can scalp this all day. Like, hold on, let me go to my scalping chart. It's in neutral territory on the MACD. So I wouldn't necessarily take an entry for a scalp, but that's what I'm seeing. I still have this going up a little bit more before we see a final drop. So that's just how I'm personally seeing it. This is a nice pullback your triple R's are showing you. I would probably say, aside from the trade stuff, you're looking at least 70 pips to the upside, but we can't control the trade stuff, obviously. And we know that when our president speaks, the market moves because of the way he speaks. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing on gold. Does that answer your question? We are talking about support and resistance. My resistance is below. Chemist, what broker are you using, please? Dark Knight or Dark Ninja, whatever your name is. You're welcome. I can't wait to catch up. I'll talk to you soon, okay? So whoever's, yes, I'm saying the person on YouTube was asking about Trader's Way is going to work infinitely differently on Trader's Way than it will on some of the brokers we actually use. Okay. Reagan, yes, I can. And support version 3. Okay, let's go take a look. Yours is on top too. So that's the difference. Let me see what my version is, and maybe that will help you guys. Let's take a look. I like this version the best, other than the daily dots. Daily dots is first. I like this version second best, by far. Hey, Mike. So this is the version I have, which you guys all have access to. It's in the group. Gold is best entered on the hour because it moves a little faster, personally. Personally, that's my opinion. You guys can talk. You guys don't have to chat. It's way funner when you talk and you hear your lovely voices, I promise. It's way funner.
Hey, Jenny, when you talk about scapping gold, would you scap it off the 1 hour?
No. I scalp that on
Okay.
the 5 minute.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, just like crypto and US 30, I mean, it's not as volatile, obviously, as like, Dow Jones, but it is definitely has enough volume to make enough money on the 5 and 15 and even entries on the 1 minute. So that's best, but I still swing gold. Gold is kind of like that middle ground where I don't mind swinging it at all because it has enough volume, but not so much it'll blow your account with a false move. It will if you're trading it properly and understanding it.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, Mike, can you unmute yourself and ask your question, please? Can I explain what? Welcome to the group, first off. If you're looking to how, there's a microphone that has like a little, it looks like a microphone depending on what software, what computer, but it looks like a microphone, so you can totally
Yeah,
unmute yourself.
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. How are you?
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm good. How are you? I thought I was unmuted.
That's
Okay,
okay.
so I'm looking at your chart. I just wanted to know how you actually trade your 4 EMAs there.
Okay, that's a good question. So you're brand new to Super Easy. How long have you been trading?
2 years. Well, really studying 2 years, but not actually trading. I haven't had any real results until I got with you guys because of my confidence. But just off and on 2 to 3 years.
Okay. Well, welcome, and I'm super glad that your confidence is going up because we know that this is mostly psychological and less skill, right?
I
That's
do
good.
now.
And as I promised. So have you ever taken a withdrawal or no?
No,
Okay.
no.
That's probably the most important question to ask. So what's your question of your EMAs? So the reason I have all of them on this chart is so when we first joined Super Easy, there was only a few of us in the group, and at that time, Pat was using the 9 and 18. He was using that as a crossover. I was using at the time with something along the lines of a 33. I like my weird numbers, it's kind of who I am. So rather than 35, I chose the 33. And then of course my 50. I do everything with the 50 because it's the most consistently used by the banks, and it's how I decide what the market is doing. So even
Okay.
with the IML and all the trainings and all the YouTubes, I simply could not find a consistent answer to, well, how do you know when it's trending up? How do you know when it's trending down? Like, what is the telltale of, like, what's the final answer? And since I couldn't find one, I created my own that I could say, this is the way I define it for me, the way I see it. So I put the 50 on there saying, if it's below the 50 on whatever time frame you're trading, really, but for my personal preference, it was at the time I was saying, if it's below the 50 on the 4 hour, I'm only looking for sells. If it's above the 50 on the 4 hour, I'm only looking for buys. Now you can apply that same thing to any time frame essentially that you're using, first off. But
Okay.
how I use all these crossovers is, you see how perfectly like it forms. Hindsight's 2020, and that sure is a pretty thing. We know it doesn't always work like that, right?
Yeah, but it looks pretty good.
In hindsight, it does. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So this first crossover is, I use the 8. I kind of prefer it slightly better than the 9. But this is your 8 and 18. So that's your first indicator. Plus you have a couple of arrows and some 4-hour support. You have a currency crossover, and then you have your fast signal on your MACD. You have, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 confirmations at this very point to get in this trade. Do you see
Okay.
that?
I see it. So you're waiting for the 8 and the 18 to cross over the 50.
Well,
In this case for a buy.
well, let me finish here. So
Okay.
that's right here. You have 6. Well, this divergence wouldn't have started yet. So you have your 1, 2. The 2 arrows is 3, 4. 4 hours. 4-hour resistance is 5. 8 and 18 crossover is 6. So that's 6 confirmations. Right. This is simply like simple math, just counting from up and down. Now I lost my spot. Thank you to my magic mouse. But I'm gonna go back to it if it will let me. There we go. I wanted to zoom in a little bit, make it a little clearer for you. So if we go to this next crossover, check this out. So you're 8 and 18, and then you have, remember the gold one is kind of, oh my, sorry, my 18, my 8 and 18, and then the gold one crosses the 33. So that's my 8 and 33 crossover, right?
Okay.
Okay. So at this point, I would have 7 confirmations to take this trade, right?
Okay.
And then what happens after that? So the 8 crosses the 50 before really the next move. And now you're above the 50, and you have, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and now we're above the 0 line on the MACD, so that's 9. And if you include this engulfing candle, that's 10, and I can super complicate you with even more stuff, but that's 10 pieces of evidence that says this is worth my risk to buy this trade. That's kind of how I see these EMAs. Everyone sees them and uses them a little differently, and there are some wrongish and right-ish answers, but essentially the best thing you can do is see it the best way you can for your own eyes.
When you took the trade on, once you saw it closing at the 33, or about to, or passing the 33 EMA over the 18, did you enter the trade then, or do you wait for it to close above the 50?
Well, today's market, so 2019, kind of a very interesting topic, but the value of the foreign exchange market went up to $6.6 trillion in 2019. So obviously that's insanely higher than it was in years past. However, the volume miraculously and mysteriously went down exponentially. So these numbers right here on the side of my screen, this is the average daily range. And if you really get to know how much this pair was moving last year at this time, it was a lot higher than 105 pips. So the volume in the market is much lower than it typically was prior to 2019. So whereas, most of my trading career up until summer 2019, I was using mostly just the 50. I also use the 33 for different reasons, but I would set alerts with it. But currently, I think the best answer would be to use that 8 and 33, the 18 and 33, anything along those lines, because the 50 is slightly slow. It works great on a smaller time frame, but on the 4-hour, so you see how much room you have for this to move? And this is a GBP pair, so that's definitely enough to pay the bills.
Wow, okay.
Take that move at 70 pips. That's $700 on one standard lot.
She's analyzing. She's telling us
Um,
what the.
somebody
Okay.
talk-
But you know what I'm talking about.
Hey, whoever's talking, we totally don't know what you're talking about, and we definitely don't want to eavesdrop on your conversation. So if you're not Mike, please keep yourself muted. Mike, go ahead and unmute yourself, pretty please.
Okay,
Okay, there you go.
thanks.
But now look, if we do the same thing on the 4-hour chart, you have safer entries, but you're going to miss a lot of these other moves. And other than the big ones, you get stuck a lot, and there's just not a lot you can do. So I did start using more or less the 33 on the 4-hour time frame. 50 works best on anything below in today's volume because the volume is kind of low. Fair enough?
Yes, on value, okay. All right, with the, well, you had the triple hours here. You mostly do all of your entries off of the 4-hour and just verify from the daily, like with the triple arrows, or are you doing it slightly different based on the EMAs?
So the money tree string line that Team with Irving and Pat currently use, I'm pretty sure I'm the one who added that to the group.
Okay.
That was a contribution from me. I love it for what it is, but the way it's programmed is essentially it's a crossover in a single line. So when the color of that money tree string changes, all it's telling you is a crossover happened, a crossover of price and a moving average, or a crossover of a moving average and a moving average. And that's what makes that line change colors. So is it a great system? Essentially, duh. I mean, I use that for a long time. I love it. In fact, I do.
Good, okay.
I can find it. But for me and mine, I don't know. I just I like the confluence of this because again, when you're so take this move, for example, 4-hour chart. If I wasn't sure to take another entry, but I saw that this was kind of in synchronicity, I guess is how I'd say it. So the 8, the smallest moving average is below the next smallest, which is below the next smallest, which is below the next smallest, or the next largest. Sorry, I said that backwards.
You're talking about.
It's going up, right? This confluence right here, that rainbow, that perfect assortment tells me every one of these drops is coming, right? And if I go here, same concept. My weakest is on top, my strongest is on bottom. That tells me I can continue to take entries. So
Wow.
for me, I like the way this kind of spreads out and gives you that rainbow kind of almost an alligator effect, which is an actual indicator. It's called the alligator. It's done predictively similar to the Ichimoku cloud.
Yeah, I'm familiar. Yeah. The alligator.
So I don't love that one, but I love the way this works kind of comparably to that one, if that makes sense.
It does. When the money tree, it only turns colors when it's actually crossing. What's the cross on the money tree? Is it equal to the 18 and the 33, or more or less the 50 crossing?
It's actually programmable. It's been a minute. There it is. Let's put it on here. It's programmable, so to your wishes. I don't have those colors, so let's play with it as is. So currently it's set at 40. Okay, so
Okay.
we sped that up quite a bit. I'm not a big fan, only because, so if I change this to my 33, watch what happens. Okay, let me make sure the DLL imports are checked. Okay, fantastic. So look, that signal comes in slightly before that, but keep in mind, this technically repaints. So if you put it on if you have any strategy chesters, are you familiar with how to do that in MT4?
Strategy chest? No, I never used it.
Okay, so if you ever do that with any indicators, you'll find out what holds value and what doesn't, or what, it still holds a value, but just know that this repaints. So for example, this break of color on this money tree string line probably is here, 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 and here. It doesn't repaint a lot, but it repaints enough to be, it's definitely a measurable amount of repainting. So here, obviously it looks perfect. It looks like the fastest possible best answer, but that's in hindsight. And we don't trade in hindsight, we trade in real time. So we love looking at the back of the charts. Everyone is a past tense millionaire. Because you're like, whoa, look at that trade I caught. Whoa, that's amazing. Woo, that's exciting, right? But that doesn't work in real time. So we need the stuff that we're looking at to work to the best of human ability in real time. It needs to work right now.
Right.
So we don't need any more things that repaint. That's why I kind of didn't play with that as much. You can speed it up, slow it down. You can do a lot of things with it. But currently it's set up to be when the 3 SMA can get as crosses the 33, you'll get this change in color. But when moments like this, where they're kind of on top of each other, like so, this all will repaint. But in real time, you don't know that. In real time, you would see this 4-hour, support. You'd see the little arrow, which we love that. We'd see the yellow arrow, and then we'd see it, saying it was buying, and then boom, it drops you out and hits your stop. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And there's ways that can still help you through that. So if you just don't trade in zones, draw a box, and if price is inside of it, wait till it breaks out of it, for the love of God. But other than that, there's not a lot of protective measures you can take to protect you from those things.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, and thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome. Do you have any other questions for me, Mike?
I'll come up with some later. I didn't want to overwhelm you.
Oh, really? You're going to overwhelm me, huh? I was the girl with all the questions, so you're good. I promise.
Okay. Now I'm good for right now. I'm letting that soak in. You use the ADR to measure the daily pips that each pair will move per day, or for the 4-hour or the weekly there? Yeah.
I do. So
Okay.
to me, most things we put on our charts, we can make it really, really naked, okay, or really, really full. But there are a few things I think you need to know. You don't have to get them all in the form of an indicator. It just happens to be nice that they're on my chart. So this right here, the average daily range, is a very, very important piece of information. It tells you how much to expect to go for. Like, I don't want to have a 700 pip take profit. I mean, unless I'm, monthly swing trading or something, when this pair only moves like 40 pips on average a day, like that's not a good use of my investment. I don't also want to have my stop loss set at, say, 30 pips when I know that this pair moves 100 pips a day. That's not enough room for the market to breathe, right? So I use
Okay.
this in terms of, a lot of people have created strategies based off of this, and some of the things I've taught, to where like they had the stop loss set at half of the ADR, or and then their take profit was set at 1 ADR. A lot of people, even in the scalping group, are using ATR comparable, but instead of it being based off of the daily time frame, it's based off of the trading range. So for example, the ATR would be on average, the average trading range per candle on the 4-hour time frame, the average trading range per candle on whatever time frame you're on. But that information is invaluable, and it's something you need to know.
Okay.
Fair enough. So there's websites,
Huh.
investing.com. I just happen to like the one that's on my chart, all nice and spazzy. It's in the group. It should be called Bar Alert in the files, in the Super Easy and Super Easy notification group. It's in both, probably no less than like 700 times. So I promise you'll find
Bar alert, you said?
it. BAR, Bar Alert. That's correct.
And where did you say it was located? I'm sorry.
It's in the Super Easy group, as well as the Super Easy notification group. I'm pretty sure it's in the 6-figure discussion group as well. And I think it's
Okay.
also in the scalping group. Like, I think it's in all the groups.
Okay. Bar alert.
Yes, sir.
Got it.
It is.
Thank you, Donna. I'm like, if nothing else, Donna will add it again.
Thank you. Thank you, Donna.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
awesome. So Alex, that answers your question. Tori, can I help you?
Hi,
You
Miss Jenny. How you doing this evening?
fantastic, and yourself?
Doing good. I've been binge watching your videos. Joined the Super Easy Forex family like back in mid-December. I had a question about, I think you did this video back in May, and you were saying how based on the season, a lot of the, full-time traders, they were kind of taking their money or just not really trading as much. Like the volume would basically decrease during the summer times. And I
Yes.
was wondering, so you use the 50 EMA, you also use the parabolic SAR. I had a question on the settings with that. If it was 0.2 per step and the maximum, well, 0.02. I had a question of the settings with that.
Let's take a look.
And if you were, I believe you were saying after 3, that was confirmation when she see 3 parabolic SAR dots in either direction. And you have your RSI, you said to set it at 10.
Okay, you have a couple questions, so make sure you have a pen and paper. So
Okay.
there's a couple videos on the flip-flop strategy. That's kind of a creation between team with Irving and myself. So he was doing a scalping method kind of based off of overbought, oversold, which we know works really well until it doesn't work. So kind of his information and mine together, we created this. Some of this is actually also from, who's that guy? I forget his name, but it's called the Bounce Back. I forget the guy's name. I'm sorry, because he is an awesome guy, but it's a bounce back strategy from IML. So it's kind of a combination of all 3 to give credit where it's due. The parabolic SAR setting I have set at 0.05 and 0.02.
Okay, so
that's a little different if you're using TradingView or even some of the different versions of trading software. There are more
the
options.
particular video I saw was with Mr. Irving yourself, and it was for the phone, MT4 on the phone.
There's like 2 other way longer versions. So
Oh,
please,
it is? Oh
yeah.
my goodness. This was May of 2019.
Yeah.
That's as specific I can get. It was May 20. Let me see if I can.
Oh no, please don't, because don't hold me accountable for stuff I said 7 months ago. I don't know what I ate for breakfast.
Okay. So basically, I won't hold you accountable. Let me know if it still sounds right. That was the big question. Is it still credible for like this season, the trading season that we're in now,
There
top
we
of
go.
the year?
Yes, I can be held accountable for that information. So here you go. These are
Okay.
the settings if you're using MT4. Yes, this still works. Is it
Okay.
most effective? Because of the lower volume in the market, which I just said, I mean, I
Right.
think,
Okay. So the volume has even dried up more since.
in my opinion, and I'm not an expert, I'm not.
Okay. But just based on your experience.
Just from what I can see, and I don't know the answers. I just know that the numbers are off.
Gotcha.
So in short, does this work? Yes. But would you need to change? Thank you, AJ. would you need to maybe change up kind of how you're using it a little bit? Absolutely. So let's talk about how to use this strategy today. I mean, everything
Okay.
is still valid to an extent. So these are the settings for periodic stars, as you mentioned. Visualization is on all time frames. Yes, I love the ADX. You guys know that from the purpose of most of the momentum. RSI, I set at 10, that is the settings. And essentially you're just wanting it above or
50.
below the 50.
Got
Stop
it.
trading overbought and oversold, because that's a really good way to give your money away. And if you're going to give it away, you may as well give it away to the charity of the week that we're supporting this week. So just a much better use of your funds. I'm just saying. So having said that, this one doesn't even have, it's not the most updated version, but that's okay. We'll play with this. So what we have on here is what? The ADX. We have on a MACD. And you can kind of pick and choose. Like maybe for you, you love the TDI. Maybe for you, your eyes just hate, currency strength indicators. Maybe for you, your eyes don't see something super well. And that's the beauty of trading, and also can be the deficit if you aren't disciplined. But either way, the rules are pretty simple. You're looking for confluence. I'm going to minimize that because we already know how to use a currency strength indicator.
Mhm.
I'm going to maximize these two. Okay,
And can we do the pound NZD?
maybe.
Oh,
Maybe. Let's see. I signed into a demo account, which I don't do too often. So all my thingies are out of order. Let's see. Okay. So pound NC, let's go to the proper time frame, which is the 15-minute, right?
oh, it's not on the hour?
For the flip-flop? No, the flip-flop is done on the 15
15
minute.
minutes. Okay. Okay.
You definitely gonna want to watch those other videos. Which
Okay.
those videos are still a valid strategy. So that strategy was tested with 80+% accuracy between many, many people. So it's a good strategy. And then it's just the numbers and a psychological thing that you have to work through. So here we are, 15-minute time frame. Whether or not you use arrows, totally up to you. This little arrow, though, I will tell you, does not repaint often and is a very, very valuable arrow. So if you were asking me, I would definitely keep the little arrow. If you like MACD or you have the special one we built in the group, I would use that. If not, use this. Remember, this would be, I'm going to draw 2 vertical lines, which I'm sure you saw me do.
Mhm.
Well,
Yes.
you watched the short one. If you watched the short one, you did not see me do this. Let's see. We were trying to keep it way short, which, is a deficit and an asset like everything else in life. Let's see. There we go. So this first crossover, and of course, our ADX is now saying buyers are in control. Momentum is high. We have our 8 and 18 crossover, and our parabolic stars have flipped. And in this case, we even have the super easy support.
Right.
Let me check the settings just to be accurate. Those are still 4-hour support, right?
And it just needed to be 4 4-hour dots, correct?
Can you?
Minimum 4 4-hour dots?
Well, wait. When I count the dot strategies that I have listed in those videos are different. So
Okay.
that would be comparable to like the Stairmaster strategy. That would be comparable to a pullback or a re-entry. But for a 4-hour dot, that's a lot of math in public. Hold on, so that's
15-minute chart.
16. So ready, 16 4-hour charts, 4-hour dots on the 15-minute chart. So technically 17 would mean 1 closed 4-hour dot on the 4-hour chart. Did you follow that?
Yes.
So 16 4-hour dots on the 15-minute chart, actually 17 because you need it to close, would mean 1 closed 4-hour support and resistant dot on the 4-hour time frame. So take that with a grain of salt, just because these would repaint so many times before you even counted to 16, right?
Okay.
Either way, at this point, you have how many pieces of evidence to say that we're going to take this trade? You have 1, 2,
multiple. Yeah, I believe you have over 16 of that.
4, 5. So you
Okay.
have 5 pieces of evidence saying, hey, this is a good enough risk reward. I understand that I'm going for X amount of pips. My stop loss would be, in this case, what is that? That's way too big. Well, this is GBP pair in all fairness. That's a 40 pip stop loss. You need at least a 1-to-1 to make this worth it. Either way, you would have got it, obviously, because of where we're at. But that's kind of what you're seeing. So if these engulfing kind of big candles made you say, I don't want to play with it, I would totally understand. But what
And then
we,
how many parabolics were you counting that this counts as a confirmation?
I didn't count parabolic stars. I would want to see 2 because I need 1 to close.
Okay.
So like I just needed 1 to close because these
Okay.
don't repaint. So if it's closed, it's closed.
Okay. And the only confirmation that you didn't get on that is the cross of the 50, correct?
Well, wait, so let's go to the next spot. There's actually 2 confirmations.
Oh, it's 2 that we missed.
So on this next place where I drew a vertical line, we have our crossover, so our faster entry. And this is comparable to trading overbought, oversold. Can it work? Absolutely. Should you bank your mortgage on it? Probably not. So this right here means the actual trend, the actual momentum is actually in buyer's territory. So when we break the 50 on the RSI, right?
Mhm.
That means you're in buyer's territory. When we are below the 50 on the RSI, that means you're in seller's territory. Comparable to the MACD, those are traditional settings, nothing fancy. When you're above the 50, you're looking for buys. When you're below the 50, you're looking for sells.
Mhm.
That's simple trend trading, no pullbacks, no nothing. So on this next vertical line, we would have 1, 2, because now we're above the 50. That means we're in the right direction. 3, right? 4 for our 8 and 18 crossover. 5 with our little arrow. 6 with our parabolic stars. 7 with our 4-hour dots. 8 with our little arrow, which is the 5 and 13 cross. 9 with our break of the 50, and 10 with our engulfing candle. So this entry gives you 10 confirmations to say, hey, I'm pretty confident of this, right?
Mhm.
That's the difference in trading. I mean, there is an advantage to both sides. Obviously, keeping the less confirmations keeps your stop a heck of a lot tighter, right?
Yes.
But your accuracy will be a heck of a lot lower. And that's relevant, depending on your time available, who you are as a person, your emotional, everything, depending on, I don't know, so many factors, it's definitely relevant. But you have to decide what kind of trader you are. I'm this trader.
Mhm. And then just moving averages, that's 9 and 18, correct? Because I heard different things, 7 and 14.
Sorry, I talked fast. Mine have always been 8 and 18 for
8
different
and
reasons. I
18.
like the 8 more than I like the 9,
Okay.
which is odd because I don't like even numbers, but long story. So that's 8 and 18. Those are moving averages, right? Those are EMAs. Those are not SMAs.
Mhm.
This is also an EMA, not an SMA.
Got it. Okay.
This is done on the 15-minute time frame. And legit, you can do this on any time frame. These parabolic stars are amazing. They're slightly faster than the traditional setting. The traditional setting is what is it? The traditional setting is 0.2, but that's a little bit too slow. So I like this better personally, but this is enough confirmations to do some amazing things. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
You are welcome. Do you
Just
understand
one
this?
warning on that strategy.
Yes, sir.
Is that if it's going sideways, it's going to chop you up. So make sure you're in a trending pair.
Okay.
So yes, he's right. So again, the biggest thing you can remember is like, let's find an awful entry because we looked at a good entry. So let's look at a bad entry.
Yes.
Kind of infamous for that, right? Because everybody loves to be a back-tested millionaire, but most of you guys want to take that to your actual banks, right? In theory, let's find a really ugly spot, like right here. Gonna make me see this inserts. You guys already know I do not chart on this platform because it is a bad idea. But if you're seeing all this consolidation, you have to have some level of stuff that tells you to stay out.
Right.
One of the best ways to remember to stay out is when the momentum line is below the 25, don't take the trade. Just skip it. There are plenty of opportunities. There's 15 billion opportunities. There's even free apps that will give you so many alerts on this. I used mostly apps like to do this strategy or a comparable thing of this strategy is I use the apps. So notice what the ADX was doing right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really, if my magic mouse would stop doing its Apple thing, thank you. Sorry.
Okay.
So it kind of pops up a little bit, probably gave you enough pips because again, it's a GBP pair. But either way, we're staying really, really low. We have no big spikes. I mean, this, yeah, but it's low. And if we were looking at any pair other than a DBP pair, you would see what I mean.
So some type of volume indicator to kind of, okay.
Yep, and if you love the, yes, if you love the RSI, you could even do something comparable to like a golden zone. So instead of having a 50 on here, you would put a 45 and a 55,
Mhm.
color the center of it gold or whatever color suits your fancy. And then instead of saying I'm going to take it at the break of the 50, say I'm going to take it with confluence when it's slightly above the 50, which will keep you mostly, not all the time, out of nonsense like this. It's just going to, like Scott said, it'll chop you up. He's right. No matter what.
Okay.
Gotcha. But this strategy will work on any time frame if you learn to actually follow it. But if you try this strategy and then you quit this strategy and you try it for 2 weeks and then you fuss and then you know, didn't give it any amount of fair amount of time. Thanks, Brandon. If you didn't give it any fair amount of time, you're not going to do any good at this strategy. The triple arrows, my scalping thing, you're not going to do any good at anything. You've got to stay with something long enough. So the people who made a lot of money with this strategy, I know Irving did really well. I know he did. God, I don't want to quote.
Because he said 900. I just saw the video. He was at 900% from $65.
Okay. I know that he got his account up to, I believe it was 40,000. Don't quote me if I'm wrong, but that was just with this strategy. And he started it with a tiny amount of money. So this wasn't like guy had, you know, $10,000 he was playing with, you guys. He made enough in a, I think he was doing it kind of slow because he was still working a lot at that time, but it didn't take him a year to do that. It took him months to do that. And that replaces most of your guys' day income, if we're being honest. So it works really well if you're willing to kind of, I don't know, what's your favorite oscillator out of everything?
I use whatever. I use the absolute.
Currency strength indicator?
And yes, the absolute strength histogram though, which is similar.
Okay, and then what else?
And then I use for the volume, I use the water alter explosion.
Well, okay, I don't know what that looks like, but
So it's just basically it's just candles, green and red, or you can change the colors that specify, and then it has like a moving average that goes across of it. So if it's above that moving average going up, then you have enough volume to enter the trade.
gotcha. And that would probably mean you're trending as well, because that means you would not be against the trend. You wouldn't be like floating around. So whatever it is that your eyes need to see, you can do that, honestly, Tori. But just do me a favor. Let's create it. We can do it right here, right now. We can create 11, 12 rules, best case scenario, 5 to 7 of your fast entry if you're gonna be in that person, and actually take those trades for literally a couple weeks. I mean, preferably, you know, quite a few to stick with it. Write down if you were taking the fast entry or the slow entry, but only take that one strategy and nothing else. Like don't
Okay.
anything else. Like get so good at that that when you see it, and then when we take one of your entries and we drag it on the chart, we'll be able to see, well, wait a minute, you broke your own rules. Well,
Right.
and that's that self lesson, that self correction is one of the hardest things for us to experience, I think, for many of us, if I'm being more fair. But you'll see, wait a minute, it does work, but I didn't listen to me. You know, it was on me. And when you can do that, you'll start off with some really awful results and you're going to get mad and you're going to say, well, this strategy doesn't work. But if you actually get past that hump to the next one, which is okay, technically, of the entries that actually follow the rules, 80% of those won. But since I took 30 more entries that didn't follow the rules, those lost, I see what I'm doing. Then the next couple of weeks, you're going to realize, hey, I'm at 85%. Hey, 80%, even with this strategy, provided you're trying to stick with a 1-to-1 or greater, you're profitable. You will have hit 6 figures within the first 6 months of the year if you just did one thing. But everyone wants to learn everything and then they end up learning nothing. So, but does that answer your questions? So sorry.
Yes, ma'am, it does. I'm gonna go ahead and start implementing this.
Well, awesome. I can't wait to hear you come on here in a few weeks and tell me, hey, Jenny, guess what? I'm at 79%. So we're going to hold you to that. Or somebody's going to say, hey, Tori, where is your 79%? Where is your 80%? Did you stick with something long enough to get good at it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for being willing to talk. It makes this so much more fun. So
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good evening.
you too. All right. First of all, Brandon Holiday, listen, Linda, I like my Mac products just fine, thank you, except for the mouse is a little weird. Okay, but I do like it, even weird. And as for everyone else, Dorian, yes, back-tested millionaire, because that's what everybody is, a back-tested millionaire. So, gone and TDI is good as long as you're using it in confirmation and not so much of the overbought, oversold, but that's up to you. So, all right, any other questions, comments, or pairs before I show you the alerts? Anybody at all? This is your moment, so don't be afraid.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, Brandon, right?
Yeah.
Been a
I
while.
had yeah, it's been a long while. I'm in school, so I haven't had really a lot of time to trade. So,
Yeah.
your currency strength indicator, you have two. You have the free one that's the absolute, and then the relative strength. Is that one that's bought, or is that one that you can find for free somewhere?
Okay, so this one was my ultimate favorite, but they started charging for it, so I no longer recommend it because, well, they did a great job marketing and they won that battle. No, that one's not. That one's not the free one. That one is the free one. Sorry. So one is the currency relative strength indicator. This one is my favorite, but they did start charging for it in all fairness. And again, the only reason why I like it better is, well, for the simple matter of fact that it puts this right here, which is awfully nice. Because even if I don't see a move here, I can look at the currency and say, well, wait, NZD is really dropping and CHF is really strong, or I can get an idea like of what's going on in the chart. So I know where to go look next versus fishing in the dark, right? But the free one that you can look up, not nearly as user-friendly, albeit, let's go to the chart where I usually have it open, is here. So notice how I have this on its own chart. It's all by itself. Okay, actually, if my guy Ray is on here, he's the one who first showed me this. And it's a good one. I loved it best. This one single indicator increased my accuracy more than anything else I did at the time when I first started out, just so you know. But in all fairness, you have to have this indicator window open full and then have it on its own chart. And what we did was we used it on the 1 hour only. I tried to use it on other time frames, but it wasn't nearly as effective. But you can see it. So if I drag and drop any pair on here, you'll notice that the thicker line, right? The gray is thicker and the gold is thicker. So that's what pair this is. This is CHF and gold is JPY. So can you see that?
Okay. Yeah, that's where I'm having my problems, because I was trying to use that because I think it gives a better confirmation, but my eyes are giving me a seizure because I've got it smashed down with other indicators.
You have to stretch it out, Zoe. Sorry, don't do that, okay? Don't do that. So stretch it out, put it on its own chart, and then just refer back to it. If you have a crossover in conjunction with your arrows, then you can take it. If not, skip it. A super simple confirmation, nothing fancy, nothing hard. You simply want this currency to be stronger than this currency or weaker, depending on the case, right?
Okay. All right. Cool.
And this one's free. So it's free. It's the absolute currency strength indicator. It's not as fun to use, I get it, but you can do the same thing. You can say CHF is strong, and I should be smarter than that. That's NZD. So it should be NZD. It is. But you can do the same thing by going to this just as well. Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Hey, how's school going? Is it going good?
Oh man, it's I'm cool with everything. I'm doing the HVAC thing because I need some real money to fund my account. I'm not good at the whole money management thing. So the only thing I'm having problem with is math, of course, because I'm having trouble with money management also.
To be a trader, we're gonna need you to be able to count and have money management. So we need to do
Yeah.
it.
I graduated high school in '92, and they got me back in like algebra, and I had no idea, you know, that dots are times now. So I mean, I'm learning it all over again. So I'm gonna get back in the saddle after I finish this school. I got 6 months left.
Well, then we will be waiting for you and cheering you on from afar, okay?
Oh, definitely, definitely. And I got some more indicators for you guys way back that I've been collecting. They're pretty. I'll talk to you later about it.
All right, I'm sure you'll message me. Have fun, okay? Be good.
All right, cool.
Okay, any other questions? Mike, are we gonna get alerts? I went over that at the beginning of the call, so here's the deal. There are a couple ways to do MT4, but that is massively complex. Well, it's not complex to me because of where I'm at, but step by step by step by step and effectively doing it is rather complex, in all fairness. So I will do a separate video with only that information, going through the 3 to 4 different ways to do it, and the pros and cons of each, because if you don't do it right, it's just going to be more of a headache and a nuisance than an advantage for you. And I promise you will regret it more than you will be grateful for it. So other than that, I did talk to Pat tonight. We had an awesome call. And I talked to him about bringing the dashboard back. So Scott happens to be on the line. So he's the genius coder that I have asked ever so lovingly and nicely and gently to see if he can't improve it at all.
She
Because
twisted my arm.
I'm trying, you guys, I'm trying. I literally had to beg Pat. I was like, listen, please, please, please. This is the last time I'll ask. I promise, but pretty please, with the cherry and lots of hugs and lots of kisses on top and everything and anything. And it was really cute. But he said, look, he would love to give it back to the advanced membership group. It was just an administration nightmare. So because those of us who knew trading, we knew how to make it work. We understood the capacity our computers needed to have. We understood how powerful it was. But this one indicator, guys, shut down people's computers, just to give you an idea of how powerful it was. Like their whole computer was frozen. They couldn't turn it on. They couldn't turn it off. Like it was a nightmare trying to help people. And most of it, in all fairness, was not because the indicator wasn't any good. It was from lack of user experience, to be transparent and a little bit harsh. But you guys can't go put 28 pairs in 5 different time frames on a dashboard and have some 20-year-old computer and the slowest internet package available and expect it not to freeze up your stuff. Because what's going to happen is your whole system's going to, I'm surprised your hardware doesn't catch on fire, or like your hard drive, whatever it's called, because it's that powerful. So Scott's going to take a look at it. And if I can get something that is functional and maybe manageable enough, we will put it back as part of the advanced membership group. And that indicator is worth its weight in gold because it just works right. It functions properly. Not a lot of drama, no headache. You can exclusively pick a few pairs. You'll get the alert, check it against your rules, even from your phone, take the trade, walk away, and that's it for the day, the week, or the month, however you're trading. It's quite awesome. But for those people who don't know how to use it, it just became a nightmare for anybody who did. So.
Okay, yeah, that's what I needed, because I just wanted, I work, I'm still a slave to the system. So I still work when I have a markup with the triple arrows, I just wanted to see if be able to check it while I work before I make the entry. Because sometimes I don't get home till late at night. So that was my only issue.
Well, I'm begging. I begged everybody I could. I pulled all my strings and all the arms and all the favors, and I asked really nice with a big smile. Okay.
I believe you. Okay, it's gonna happen.
So, but here's the deal. In between now and then, you can totally do this on the 4-hour chart. There's not a whole bunch of volatility with the exception of enormous elections and like trade deals stuff. There's not so much volatility that you can't find a 4-hour trade setup. Go for a couple percent, maybe 3%. Do that on Monday night, which is Tuesday morning trade time. Monday night America is Tuesday morning trade time. It's Tuesday morning Asian time. So you can find a few setups at that point. And if you found, for example, 2, and you kind of let those hold, you can check in the morning before you go to work, provided you have 15-minute window. And then again, you can enter a few other trades on Wednesday night or Wednesday morning. Great time. Thursday night, great time, especially if it's in the direction of the trend. Markets tend to move a lot on Friday. So you can still do this, but you just have
Okay.
to manage what you're doing. If you have enough confirmations and your stop loss is tight, the only reason you would be checking the chart on Wednesday morning is to move your stop loss into profit or to find a new trade, which if once you become effective, clicking through 28 pairs, and especially there should be a few that you don't like, you should narrow that down a bit for personal preference. But let's just say 20 shouldn't take you more than 15 minutes once you're familiar. It's literally drag, drop, drag, drop, drag, drop. And do I like it? Do I not like it? I have enough confirmations or I don't. I take it or I don't. I walk away and I'm done. Swing trading is like ultra easy. People mess up because they keep touching it. They got like the sticky fingers. They can't leave it alone.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. That's
With
good.
him, 5 p.m. Hey, don't worry about it. If you missed part of it, this is recorded first off. And these are 8 p.m. Eastern time, so 5 p.m. Pacific is right. I'm pretty sure you're right on that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. So
That's
you are
right.
like somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So she said she couldn't, she was late, so but she thought she had the time wrong. So
They're 3 hours behind.
oh, gotcha. Well, yeah, the time zone thing still messes me up. Plus, I just moved 2 hours ahead, so I'm essentially living in the future. Well, kind of compared to my mama. I am living in the future 2 hours ahead of time. So, but okay, that's that. What I want to show you guys right now for anybody who stuck around, who likes Tradingview? Does anybody have any, ability whatsoever on Tradingview? Anyone at all? None of y'all? Psh, we gotta talk about that. Tradingview is one of the best places to chart. So let me minimize the info.
I love Tradingview.
Are you any good at it?
Pretty good.
Good, fair enough. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up NZD/JPY as per Miss Sarah, who asked a question real quick on NZD/JPY. We're gonna use that for our video real quick, and then we're gonna call it over because I'm working on that whole time management thing. It's going pretty well, I think. I'll let you know in a week or two. Let's see. Go back to my Zoom, go to new share. Gotcha. Can everybody see my window?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is pretty simple. For those of you who want alerts now, I can't control what package you have with TradingView. If you have a package, that's not my job. That's not my business. I'm pretty sure I probably could get an affiliate link for this. I might want to set that up too, but I don't have that right now. So if you don't have a signed in package, you need to have a signed in package. Even the free account works just fine. This is tradingview.com. It is probably, in my opinion, one of the most user-friendly, easy to use charting software ever. In terms of accuracy for a broker, when you type in a pair, just one little tip real quick, I would definitely, NZD, JPY, 1Y, I would typically select Awanda. It tends to be closest to price for AFX and closest to price for Hugo's Way. Because like other brokers, this price is going to vary compared to your broker price. So to stay consistent closest to what we're trading on, which is AFX and Hugo's Way, we're going to want to be choosing Awanda. So I'm going to make sure I'm on the right broker, which I am. And now what am I on? Anyone know what time frame I'm on? Who knows? iPhone Norman.
4 hours.
Donna, really, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, yep.
Okay, cool. You guys can see that. So,
Thanks, Jen.
I know, right? You're just killing it. I slay, right? Okay, anyways, if you want an alert, the odds are if we go to our triple arrows, anybody have their MT4 up? Can you tell me if we have triple arrows on NZD/JPY to sell? Anybody at all? Pretty sure we do. If not, we have a head and shoulders. Anybody see that? Maybe a Batman, but I can't draw him, so that's out.
Yes, it's is going down.
Triple arrows going down for a 4 hour. Here, we have it here, right?
Correct.
All right, so let's
That's correct.
Now, I can't help you in terms of the most effective way on MT4. And honestly, it's in your best interest. So let's skip it. Let's talk about something that's effective and meaningful. Okay. We have triple arrows here on our 4-hour, on our MT4. But let's say I'm only going to trade 3 pairs. A lot of very successful traders only trade 1 to 3 pairs. They're not focusing their efforts on a bajillion different things and then wondering why they miss everything that counts and only take everything that doesn't. It's because their attention is spread just way too thin. So what's your next best option? You realize that on TradingView, I can create an alert for, let's draw a pretty shape. They don't have hearts, so I guess I'm gonna go with the circle. That crossover. Anybody know what crossover that is? Can you guess with just looking at it?
8 and 50.
33,
33,
33.18.
818.
8 and 3.
Alex got it. Good job, Alex. You can tell by looking at it. So if I were to be setting an alert right now, which I've said probably umpteen times, I would be setting this one personally. But for the sake of keeping it loyal and super easy friendly, this is the one that you would be setting. This is it. Now, if you're asking Jenny's opinion, the 50 is a bit too late in today's market. The 33 is right on point. So personal preference up to you 100% of the time. But either way, as you can see, this one's late. But it's also going to give you a lot less noise like right here. Because we don't want noise. We don't want alerts at 2 a.m. for no good reason and then take it. And then by the time you took it, well, you were stopped out. We want to avoid as much as this, but catch as much of this as possible. So I would use this as a re-entry personally, like the 9 and 3. So either way, if I go right here, I currently have no alerts. That's why Donna hasn't been getting any lately. I had to delete them all, remember, for my Awanda nonsense. Yay, I have to do that again, which is a couple hour task. So if I want to create an alert though, and as you guys can see, I don't have any on this account particularly, it's super simple to do. I'm going to hit add. Okay, not difficult at all in theory. Click here. It will let me add. That's not funny. Hold on, I might not be signed in because that should be way simpler than that and it's not working. Well, that's embarrassing. Hold on, it's supposed to work. Manage alerts. So we deleted all. Click here. It's the Apple mouse. Thanks, Alex. Seriously. So it's not working. I might have to do that another call. Click here. Let me try signing out. I'm gonna go to new Google window. New window. Okay. I'll reshare with you guys. I'll try one more thing. Sorry. Well, that's new, but like I just said, we deleted those. Pretty simple. And it's not a MacBook, it's a Mac Pro. Thank you. Just so we're on the same page. Okay. It's not a MacBook. I have those too. We have quite a few computers. My daughter uses my MacBook more than me anymore. I don't use it very often. Except for maybe when I travel. Don't use it often. So let's try to relog in and see if it kicked me out just because I'm on YouTube and they really want to be a meanie ad. Hey, Norman, have a good night. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Let's go to this one. Check. Now let's try it. Click here. There we go. So it was just being silly. But this is super simple. All I have to do is, because I'm already on NZDJPY, and this is what people don't know, is I would click my 8 crossing over. I don't want it to cross over a value or a price. I want it to cross over my 33. I want that to happen once per bar or once per bar close, your choice. Depending on your trading style, you could do either one. I keep it at once per bar because every indicator lags, plus the alert lags. So this is effective for me. And I'll get a new one every time. I will go here and stretch this out as far as they allow me to, right? Notify on the app, show a pop-up, send an email. If I click this, then my partner will get one. Oh, I don't want an email actually. If I click this, my partner will get it because I have it set up to go to their phone. And it also goes to my app on my iPad and my app on my iPhone. So now I'm going to have alerts in places that matter. I'm not necessarily going to get a text message, although you can also get an email, and you can even get the pop-up on your computer screen. But now every time this happens on this time frame, so it's the 4 hour and it's this pair that I'm creating that alert for. Once per bar, it will continue until March. I'll have to update them every so many months. I hit create, and there I go. It's turned on. I will get an alert for that. Does everybody see how I just did that once I logged back in? It was really quick once I logged back in. Everybody? Peekaboo.
Yep.
Thank you, Alex. Let's see. That's all you do. So now if you do that for a free account, I'm pretty sure you can only do 3 pairs. Don't quote me. It's been a while since I had a free account. So, but I'm pretty sure it's only 3 pairs you can do an alert for. But could you imagine if you just caught, so I'm going to take this off now. I'm going to take off that 18. Okay. This is a mess. And again, our ADX will keep us out of it. If you know how to use it, it keeps us out. But if you caught this move and this move, even the baby move, for the most part, it will work very effectively. You do get tripped up on stuff like this. There's not a lot of way around it except for by being able to see, hey, wait a minute. This is a super area of support and resistance. If you have your support and resistance marked up, as per our last week calls, you would have stayed out of anything like too heavy right here. But even on one pair, if you just held one pair for a while and go back, don't listen to me, try it yourself. Areas of consolidations don't work on most strategies. You have to be able and know how to draw a breakout box, understand how to stay away from choppy markets. Hindsight's 2020, we can't protect all of them, but ADX will keep you out of a lot of this. No perfect entries, but once you have enough confirmations, you'll take that trade, and there you go. And I promise you that will be in line with your triple arrows on the 4 hour, 9 times out of 10. Just so you know. Awesome. Wayne, the ADX settings are 10. It's 10 applied to close. Everything else is standard. I don't like the slower one, so it's a little faster.
Jenny,
Yes, sir.
just a piece of information. The yellow arrow as part of the triple arrow system is capable of doing an alert. And
Yeah.
that can be set to whichever moving averages you want.
And you can even get that in text message form or to your MT4
Or an email.
or an email.
So if you can set up the yellow arrow with your 9 and 18, then it will send you crossover messages. And if you don't want to have that showing on your screen, you can set its color to none. Just use it for the alert.
Nice. That's a good idea, actually. That's probably the most effective current way. The only deficit to that is it only works on a chart that's physically open. So for example, I mean, that's great if you're only looking at 3 pairs, right? So actually that would give you 6 alerts if you did 3 there and then 3 here. But it's not practical to have 30 some odd charts open, although I've been known to do that multitudes of times. Yeah, that's a good idea though, Scott. That works.
But yeah, you are absolutely correct. You have to have the chart open.
Yeah, that's the only
And
problem.
the other thing is that email alerts on MT4 are kind of a bitch to set up. So it's you have to be able to tell it what SMTP server you're going to use. And if you don't understand what I mean, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You have to get good at like the text to SMS thing too. If you want the text message alert, the pop-ups on the phone, the only reason why I don't find that consistent is because they don't come in consistently. So the problem I've had with doing it, that whole link it to your MT4 on your phone by your MQL whatever account, is not it's not consistent. So some of them come through and some of them don't, and I couldn't find a correlation as to why. I couldn't just figure out what in the actual heck was going on, because I tried it on so many brokers, so many things, it just was inconsistent. So you have to deal with either text messages or emails. And other than AT&T, at least if you have Verizon or Sprint or whatever other services, it comes in one single text message stream. The only reason why I don't like text messages currently is because with AT&T, it comes in one new text message for every single alert, which pretty much means you have 900 messages you have to manually delete versus one stream of messages from like all the alerts that day. Just some interesting information for you. Mike, exactly. It took an entire day to set that up. It is a pain in the butt. It's a pain.
The worst.
Oh, do you have it set up to your email or to your text messages?
To my phone and email. So I get the email from MetaTrader 4 and my personal email and on the phone they give me an alert. But I had an invitation arrow system before, and it just kept ringing all over the place. So I deleted it, but it's still set up.
Hey, that's not fun at all. Derek, where have you been? We were talking about you this morning. I just saw you.
Hey, how you doing, darling?
Missed you. You're our buffer. Where are you?
I guess I just needed a mental break for a minute after that, all that stuff with Iran and Iraq and all that. It's just, it was tough for me because I was embedded in Iraq for 10 years. So that stuff was not fun. And they charged the camp that I set up and everything. So I just had to just kind of just step away from silliness.
Oh, how are you doing now?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. Good like Hollywood, and I just need to step away for a minute. It was just getting a little too crazy and a little too close for me with all that craziness.
Well, I wanted to let you know that you were appreciated, you were thought of, and you are valued. So, just so you know, and I hope that.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yes. I miss hanging out, and I guess Scott brought me out of the hiding.
Thank you, Scott.
You were
Got to blame him for something, Everybody likes him except for
I'll
me.
take that.
Thank you, Scott. We were honestly Scott and I this morning. I was like, man, he's the buffer. He is so. He's the only like to be a girl. He's that to me. You can take long enough to allow that to happen. Like every time. So I'm like, cool, Derek's talking. I can go and get a cup of coffee. I can take that call from my mother. Or God forbid, I actually do have to pee in the 3-4 hour time frame sometimes. I don't have to say that on a live call all the time. So yeah, you're the buffer. Like, or at this moment, you're it. You're our guy.
Oh, so all those bad things that Barbara been saying about me wasn't true?
I know, right? Oh
we're missed, Derek.
Yeah. She said, Derek, we're going to send you up to Donna and send you to that prison up in Texas,
Oh, did she tell you she lives
That's
right?
right.
She lives right by where they kill all the people. That's why she's so like.
Oh, no, I wasn't going to mention that. The reason why they call it Huntsville, they hunt you down.
Can I add something real quick?
Hey, Alex, come on out. We're just hanging out now. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's a free indicator on the marketplace on MT4. It's called MA crossover
Yes.
alerts, and you can set your EMAs or whatever MA you want, and then you can set if you want an email alert, pop-up alert, or a mobile alert for that. So if you just use that one indicator on a chart, it shouldn't bog down your system too much. So you can have a few charts open with that. And then that's probably a lot easier than the Tradingview for a lot of people.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, but again, it comes down to the church over. And that with MQL, like especially if you're a bot or a trading manager. So I learned the hard way that like even my trading managers, they will freeze up and then not work, and that's the best of them. If I have too many charts open, it makes them not valid. Any of my bots, any services that are a different level of trading. So I'm all for it. In fact, if you have that, by all means, drop that in the Super Easy group. You can say per Jenny. This way everyone knows that it stays and doesn't go. But drop it in the Super Easy group if you can, so people know what to look for. That's great. Our 5 and 13 yellow arrow does the same thing. Well, no, it doesn't do the same thing. It does something comparable. So thank you for that.
It's a free indicator on the marketplace. I can really post it.
Oh, got you. Oh, okay. That's okay.
Okay.
I will look it up and then I'll post it. Let's see. I'll go to market. I haven't went to the marketplace in a minute either.
Hey, Jenny,
Hey, Dorian, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Wonderful.
Thank you for the tip with the Tradingview alert. I had mine's at 80 and 50 and was wondering if it was my carrier that was the cause. Now concerning the crossover alert, I found a very good one, an alternative to the MA crossover if anyone wants to use it. It's called the MQ LTA MT4 moving average crossover alert. I could also, I'll upload that into the Telegram as well. I have my alert set up on both TradingView and MT4. Now, if you want to use your email, I recommend that you filter your alerts that are coming from either TradingView or the MT4 into a separate folder. That way your inbox does not get filled with too many emails. And then it'll be easier to just select them all and delete them from your email.
Perfect. Thank you, Dorian. Yes, and you can post it in there per Jenny. How have you been?
Very good. I've been practicing a lot and setting up my charts and just doing a process of elimination with what works and what doesn't work for me.
Okay.
And the alerts actually is a game changer. It helps out a lot.
Are you doing the 8 and 50 or the 8 and 33?
I'm gonna switch it to the 8 and 33. I just did that with the MT4, so I got to do that with my TradingView.
Yeah, please do. You'll like it, I promise. And then
Okay, thank you.
so like it doesn't have to be my rules. It just has to be a consistent set of rules that you are willing to like enough to stick with long enough to get somewhere. It doesn't have to be my way or anybody else's. It just takes some factual information and then run with it as far as you can run.
Yeah, and then another thing that I've been doing is getting some sleep before the London session. With the session indicator, I changed the days to 360. That way I could go all the way back and see when the breakouts occur. And it's always during the London session and it trends into the American. So that's made a big difference as well.
So you're trading London?
Yes.
So you're not a zombie yet?
It hasn't been easy. It's been difficult because I have to go to bed by 6 or 7. That way I could be up by midnight.
But you can do that. Like most of us, if you have a life, if you have a wife, if you have a dinner date, if you have softball with your daughter, if you have like anything, there's just, I can't do it consistently. So like I am proud of you. You can definitely catch a lot for London breakout, but to get good at it for me was it was a pretty moot point because I couldn't stick with it because I was a zombie. I was ineffective.
Yeah, because I was listening to what Pat was saying, and he said, if you want to make that money, discipline yourself. And I, you know, when I was in college and even after college, I was so used to being up for 3 days straight studying and getting my work done because I worked full time as well. So I figure if I could do that and survive, I should be able to do this with no excuse.
Okay. So you want me to have a word with Pat about having my people turn into zombies? Should I talk to him about that?
Yeah, you can talk to him.
Because I will have a word with him on your behalf, Dorian. I'm gonna tell him that you sent me.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Dorian. I super appreciate you.
You're welcome. I appreciate you too. Thank you.
We
Yeah.
just need to get Pat to change the time of London. That's what we need to do.
If they get a letter from Jenny's congressman, they're gonna change whatever I ask. This little white girl in Florida. She thinks
Well, we can, what's the new princess? She's already kicked up enough dust in England already. We could get her to do that, huh?
Oh, she's infamous for TikTok.
Megan, huh?
Oh yeah.
I'm sure the queen has a few choice words for her now.
And I'm so over that. Like, that's not even. It's crazy because the couple stepping away. Did you guys read about that? That couple wants to step away from their roles and responsibilities because they are just that over the drama. Like, could you
No
imagine?
freaking way. If I was Prince Charles' son, would I step away and get a regular job? F that. But you never know. It's probably joyous on the outside, but probably on the inside is probably torture. He probably can't do nothing.
Oh no, their smiles are bought and paid for. That smile is amazing, but they are taught and bred for that. I mean, you talk about peace. What is your value of your peace? There's no dollar amount you can put on peace. Like, I'm a girl. I don't care what ethnicity that princess is. I
Sure.
don't care if that guy is balding. The queen is crazy. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not actually sorry because people get really defensive of that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes. We're not trying to offend our British UK family members.
No, I love them. I want peace and joy for them. Like, I don't want drama. No, that's all.
Yeah.
Hey, Jenny.
Well, we have the Kardashians, you know.
Oh my God, those are plastic. Let's not. Do you see those kids before they became money? Really? We need to post that in the group, okay? That is not a princess. Princess Diana was a princess.
I'd say it.
She was a princess in her heart, right? She did loving things. She did good things. She was a real princess.
Totally agree.
That's my version of a princess.
Yeah, I can't imagine the pressure you have born into that.
I know, right? That's what.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey, Anthony, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Hey, I heard I've chimed in late because I'm having some late days. I haven't been able to get into the morning sessions like I was before because I've been running on reserve power until today, so I'm back. But I wanted to let you know that I've heard some guys chiming in about a moving average crossover indicator. There's a free moving average crossover dashboard, and you can put whatever pairs you want into it, whatever time frames you want into it, and set it up. It's a dashboard.
Oh, cool. I don't need to write that. I was just thinking about that. I made a note for myself.
So it's out there. It's called the moving average crossover bars ago dashboard, and it's in the market. It's in the MT4 market.
Can you repeat that name again, please?
Moving average crossover bars ago.
Okay, Anthony, but have you ever used it?
I have used it.
Okay. Did you have all 28 pairs? How many time frames did it freeze up your stock?
No. I didn't use all 28 pairs. Definitely not going to use all 28 pairs. I usually stick to about, me personally, I stick to about 7. I've got what I call my Fab 4, which are pairs that have nothing to do with each other. And then I stick in there gold and usually 1 or 2 other ones. But I don't try to monitor all 28.
Wow, that's
How about
interesting.
time frame?
Say again?
What time frame?
I usually don't. Well, you can use it for any time frame you want. I personally like to use it for 1 hour and 4 hour time frames. I have gone down as far as 15 minutes. You can even use it on a 5 minute. I think I did try it on a 5 minute, but just because of my work schedule is so hectic, I've been able to see the change and track it. But as far as me trying to catch anything, it's been, on a 5 minute, it's been tough for me personally.
Well, I get that, but I'm asking because I want to know if it's going to bog down. So you had it on 2 time frames for a total of 7 pairs, so about 14 pools of information, if I'm thinking correctly. And you have an MT4 on your computer or on a VPS?
It's on a VPS.
Well, that's also probably why. I'm just
So
curious.
it wouldn't hurt to try it. It's free. So I don't know. Beyond that, I don't know.
Free things in life.
know when we,
I'm
because,
we're gonna try it now.
huh?
I said, I'm sure there's gonna be people trying it now.
I know, but if they fuss and moan and then say, oh my gosh, everything is wrong, my account just froze up. So if you can't handle a dashboard,
Everybody on the call, download it. Do not fuss and moan. Do it at your own free will.
So what I did, I've actually got it running. I've actually got a few instances of it running. I've got one running for triple arrows. I've got one running for the scalping, and I've got another one running for another strategy. I just wanted to see how hard it was going to be on the charts if I ran multiple instances. Of course, I don't plan on keeping it that way, but I just wanted to see how it was going to work out.
no, I love it. That's awesome. But on a VPS, I get it because on my VPS, you know, I can do umpteen things. But if somebody puts it on their stuff, they refuse to get a VPS, and then they wonder why nothing works for them. There has to be some level of ownership and some level of, hey, wait a minute, you know, gotta be something, right?
Right.
All right, guys. Well, hey, Donna is messaging me saying, "Girl, get out of bed, get out of this call." So, if you guys have not yet subscribed to the YouTube channel, her and I are going to be kicking out some kind of fun, awesome things. We have some pretty cool projects that we're going to be doing, and that is all we're going to go over tonight. Thank you, Alex, Anthony, Dorian, and I think Mike too. Thank you, Derek. I've missed you.
Thank you.
Miss you too.
Let's see, Scott. Yes.
See you next week.
Good night.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, Jenny.
Mwah. Talk to you soon.